Welcome back, students. In my last video, I've discussed about present tense, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss with you all about past tense. So, let's start. Here is the list of rules. As you can see on the screen, we have already discussed the rules of present tense in my last video. But in today's video, I'm going to discuss about the rules of past tense. So let's start with simple past. In simple past, as you can see, the second column, two examples are given. First example, I spoke. Second example, he spoke. Here, one thing you have to remember, as in the case of rule, that V2, that is past tense form of the verb, is used. For example, if I say I spoke, in this particular sentence, I is subject and spoke is past tense form of the verb. Now, in the next one, that is past continuous, the rule is first we have to write subject, and after that there will be an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb can be was, were. You remember was, were. So subject, then was, were, then ing form of the verb. Now, ing form of the verb is also called present participle form of the verb. Now, moving towards the next section, that is past perfect. In past perfect, the rule is at first you have to write subject and then auxiliary verb, that will be only had, and then v3, that is also called past participle form of the verb. So the rule for the past perfect tense is subject, then auxiliary verb, in that we have to write had, and then v3, that is also called past participle form of the verb. So here the sentence is I had spoken. I subject, had auxiliary verb, spoken, that is main verb, and it is in the form V3, past participle form of the verb. Now the last one, that is past perfect continuous tense. In past perfect continuous tense, you have to remember, at first we'll write subject. Subject is I, had been speaking. Now had been is auxiliary verb, right? And in this particular section, like past perfect continuous, the rule goes this way: subject, had been, and then ing form of the verb. So here had been and ing form, that is speaking. It is also called present participle. Ing form is also called present participle form of the verb. Now, we will talk about each and every tense in detail. So, here is the past tense. Simple past tense. Simple past tense is used at two times, you remember here. First, when we are talking about past action with adverb or adverbial phrase. Here you remember, adverb or adverbial phrase should denote past tense. For example, in the first example, I received his letter yesterday. Yesterday is adverb, an adverb of past. Now, she left school last year. Now, here last year is adverbial phrase and it denotes past. Now, two examples are given. I received his letter. I subject, received past tense form of the verb, his letter object, and yesterday, as I've told you, it is adverb. Now, again, I'm discussing the second example. She left school last year. Now, she subject, left past tense form of verb, school object, last year adverbial phrase. Now, second time when simple past tense is used is for past habitual action. Past habitual action, you can see any action, any habit which you used to do in the past, which you acquired in the past. For example, he studied many hours every day. Now he studied many hours every day. It was his habit to study many hours. Nowadays these habits is no more seen, right? So he studied many hours every day. Here he subject, studied past tense form of verb. Many hours, that is object. Every day, this is adverb. She always carried an umbrella. She, subject. Always, adverb. Carried, past tense form of adverb. And umbrella, this is object. Now, moving towards the next part, the next kind of this tense, this is past continuous tense. In past continuous tense, you have to remember here some rules. Sometimes when it is used. First part, this is an action going on at some time in the past. Means any action which was in continuity in the past. For example, they were listening to the radio all evening. They were listening to the radio all evening means in the past those people were listening, means the action of listening to the radio was going on, right? So they were listening to the radio all evening. Now if I talk about the rules, so here they, subject, verb, this is auxiliary verb, listening, ing form of verb which is also called present participle. Now to the radio all evening. Now radio, to the radio, object, and all evening, adverb. Adverbial phrase. Now it was getting darker. Now it, subject, was auxiliary verb, getting, ing form of verb, and darker, this is adverb. Now second part is persistent habit. Now any habit which was persistent means the person was stick to that, right? Stuck to that. He was always playing PUBG. Now the persons had this habit to play PUBG all the time in the past. So this is a persistent habit, right? The person was stuck to that. He was always playing PUBG. Form also you can see it is in this way only. He, subject, then auxiliary verb, and then ing form of verb, that is playing here. Now second example, she was always complaining. She, subject, was auxiliary verb, complaining, this is V4. This is also called present participle form of the verb or ing form of the verb. Now next part, this is past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is used when we are talking about two actions. Okay. Now two actions and one action. It's very important. You have to note here that here we are talking about two actions. One action completed first, action 1, and then second action, action 2. Now, so as you can see in the second box, it's given two actions of the past. One sentence will write, one action will write in simple past, and second action will write in past perfect. Now I'm talking about the example. The train had already started. Now this is action started before I reached the station. Now here two actions are there. Train had already started. Action 1. I reached the station. Action 2. Now, what happened first? The train started, right? So, the action 1 which happened first, we use past perfect tense. And the action which happened just after that, we use simple past. So, what happened first? The train had started first. The train had left the station first. So the action 1 is the train had started. When I reached the station after the train left the station. So this is action number 2. You remember action 1 past perfect, action 2 simple past. So the train had already started before I reached the station. Now the next part in which past perfect tense is used, an action completed before a certain moment in the past. Now in any action which has already completed in the past. Now example, I met him in New Delhi in 1996. I had seen him 5 years before. Now, which action completed before a certain moment in the past? First one, I met him in New Delhi. Sorry, not second one. I met him in New Delhi 1996. I had seen him 5 years before. So this part, I had seen him 5 years before. This is past perfect tense. Now, the last part of in the last kind in the past tense. This is past perfect continuous tense. Now, past perfect continuous tense is used when an action began in the past, continued for a period of time, got over in the past itself. Now, here you have to note that any action which you started in the past, continued doing for a period of time, and after it left that action also in the past itself. Now, example, I had already been teaching in here for 2 years. Now, I had already been teaching in here for 2 years means I means the person, the subject had started teaching 2 years back, right? For a period of time, the means I taught means 2 years I taught, and after 2 years in the past itself, I completed means I left teaching, right there. Now, the second example, at that time, he had been writing the novel for 2 months. Now, the person had started writing the novels 2 months back, continued writing for 2 months, and completed also means finished also writing the novel in the past itself means that action is not going on. This is the difference between present perfect continuous tense and past perfect continuous tense. I just want to recollect, I just want you to recollect the things which I have discussed with you in the last video about present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense, you mark here, present continuous tense is used when any action we have started in the past and still going on, started in the past and still going on. For example, I have been teaching here for 2 years means I have started teaching here 2 years back and still going on means my teaching is still going on. So that's why I have used present perfect continuous tense means I have started teaching 2 years back and still going on. But past perfect continuous tense is like you have started something doing in the past, continued for a period of time, and stopped doing also in the past itself. So, students, in this video, we have discussed about past tense and the four kinds of past tense. The assignments will be attached to this file on your school website. So, till then, take care, have healthy food, and be careful about the things, right? Till then, bye bye.